Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of To a Woman's Heart, where we uplift, motivate, encourage, and empower women. Well, let me say this. I thank you all for joining. Type a little note in here. And want to say, make sure you follow us on all our social media outlets. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, TikTok. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Look at the website, toawomansheart.com. And if you're a woman in business, check out the social media outlet. That's toawomansheart.org. Okay, everybody. I know I had creations by Ange on tonight, but unfortunately, her dad has COVID and so does she. And as we know, um, Omicron is spreading like wildfire, and it don't discriminate who it hits or how it hits. And for those of us who are healthy, um, work on. I tell my family all the time, and they probably gonna laugh when I say this: bump up your immune system. That's the best thing you can do. The vaccination is not a guarantee. It's only there to minimize the symptoms. The only guarantee that we have in life is Jesus Christ Himself. He's the only one you can depend, lean on in the time of need and the time of trouble. That's the only one. Friends would fail you, family would fail you, businesses would fail you. So he's the only one that you can lean and depend on. So let's continue to pray for those who are struggling with um, being sick from COVID. And let's pray for those families who have um, endured loss of loved ones from those who suffer from COVID. Let us not forget that there are other things out here that still is running wild, like heart attack, cancer, leukemia, lupus, high blood pressure, diabetes. We still have to make sure that we understand that those things still do exist as well. So when you take what we're dealing with now and you can pile that on top of it, that's like a double, triple, or quadruple whammy for some people. So all we can do is learn how to pray, and prayerfully that it skip over your house, skip over your children, your husband, your family, your closest friends. We're just praying. The best thing we can do is pray. There was a song called Heal the Land, and I pray that God will heal the land. But like I said, and I had many conversations before, a lot of our issues that we're dealing with right now is because of our disobedience. We so hard-headed. And I don't think some of us get it. We don't understand. We're using people. We're mistreating people. We're cheating people. We're not doing right by people. And so when you constantly living in an environment where, doing wrong has become the norm instead of doing right, and then you okay with it, you can get up and lay down with what you do to somebody else and you have no feelings whatsoever about it. You got to think why we're sitting in the mess that we're sitting in. And for some of us who don't believe in a higher being, in Jesus and God, explain to me, how can anybody shut down not just the United States, but other countries as well? So there has to be some evidence to you that He does exist. But neither here nor there. We're going to keep praying for those that need prayer, and prayer changes things and people. All right. So we're going to wing it tonight. So if you come on, you have a conversation, you got a question, please feel free to ask me a question or bring up a conversation or a topic. I asked my friend Linda, and she's listening to me talking as I'm talking. I said, you want to get on here and let's have some girl talk. Women needs wisdom from older women as well, because everybody don't know everything, and I don't know everything. Life is lessons lived and learned. And every day of our life, we're learning something. Well, we should learn something in our everyday life. We should, but that's not always the case. And I've been doing some. I've been populating my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter. I've been populating my TikTok, and I've been working on splitting out my website from with the t-shirts. It's rebranding season, so you can't do the same thing that you did last year, and then you have to learn how to do things differently so you can reach a wider audience. But at the same time, when you are a one woman show, it can become overwhelming for those who are into entrepreneurship world. It can become overwhelming, especially when your budget does not allow you to hire anybody at the specific time. So you have to figure out how to do things by yourself. And I'm not saying, I'm not fussing, I'm not complaining. There's nothing wrong with it, but I'm just saying to you, so you can understand, sometimes whatever you endeavor to do, you have to crawl before you walk. And some people think, if I open up this business in 2 or 3 months, it's going to be booming like I want to. But you don't think about the software you need. You don't think about the computer you need. And if you do live streaming, you don't think about the cameras, the mics, the lighting that you need. You have to learn how to market. You have to learn how to create flyers. Everything you need to get your business up and running. And neither do you think about, for when you don't have a lot of money, um, how you can find avenues that will feed your business without you spending a lot of money, until you get to a place where you can spend some money. And even building a website can be quite costly. If we realize it or not, it can be quite costly. So I was doing some topics on TikTok, and I became aware, um, as I was doing some topics. And each outlet has a different type of audience that will tune into what you say. And I figured out, as I was doing um, the TikTok, and I was doing Instagram, and posting to YouTube and posting to Facebook and Twitter, I figured out that some of us like to look at a lot of mess. Let's be honest. Let's call it what it is. We're grown people. Some of us are drawn into mess. They like crazy stuff. They don't like things that make sense. And a lot of us like stuff that makes us laugh. And there's nothing wrong with watching things that make us laugh. There's nothing wrong with watching crazy things. Um, but when we're on social media, I've learned that a lot of us don't like anything that has substance. A lot of us don't like to have conversation that causes us to look at ourselves in a different light. Because, see, we have an instant defense mechanism when somebody bring up something pertaining to us. Our guards instantly go up, and that's just the norm. That's how it is. We instantly have a defense mechanism. Our guards go up when somebody says something to us, because whatever, as I said before, whatever has transpired in our past, however we was raised, whatever somebody said to us, what they did to us, whether our parent or our mama or our daddy or our grandmama or aunt or a great aunt, however they said what they said, however they did what they did when you was coming up, whatever relationship was unhealthy that you endured when you got a little bit older, all those different things has an impact on who you are as a woman. And whether we realize it or not, those things that we have endured in our past form us in our future. So if, like, I give you an example, my grandmother and my great aunt with some serious cusses. And I mean, they could cuss from the rooter to the tutor. and they use some very choice words. That was my grandmother and my great aunt. And when you're around that all the time, whether we want to admit it or not, we adapt to our environment. And so, me and my family, and they'll tell you, I'm the cusser. And I can be honest about me. Now, I love the Lord. Don't get me wrong. I love him. But I am a cusser. And I'm gonna be honest. See, that's what our problem. We can't be honest with who we are. We like to put up the front. We like to put up the facade. We like to put up the fakeness and try to pretend to be something that we're not. But we're living in a time that we need to be our true, authentic self. That's who we need to be. Because being somebody else is a job. My mama said you tell one lie, you got to tell two. And when you tell them two lies, you got to tell a third lie to cover up the one and the two. And if you tell a third lie, you got to tell a fourth lie to cover up the three, two, and the one. So it's a domino effect. But if we learn how to tell the truth, not only tell the truth to others, but we be better individuals if we tell the truth to ourselves. We tell the truth to ourselves. And so we expect in our life that things are going to be smooth as pie. And it's not. And we expect in our life to never have no issues, to never have no conflict. And we look at ourselves sometimes as a model individual. And if we really would do evaluation, we would find out that we're not. We take our opinions and our thoughts of what our perceptions are and try to force them on somebody else. And that's not how it should be, not whatsoever. But also, society has shown us that some of that, and we take on some of that. Like we get invested in other people's relationships. Like when entertainers have something that happens in their lives, or something goes wrong, or they get caught up doing this, and the news media report they cheated on somebody, a news report that this person's getting a divorce, or the news media report that they got caught doing drugs, or the newspaper report that they sexually molested somebody, or the newspaper reported that they stole something from somebody. But what we fail to realize, they are still human beings. And the only difference between them and us is they are in the limelight and we are not. And I found that we pay more attention to things that we should not pay attention to. And the things we should pay attention to, those are very things that we don't. We don't pay attention to that. We spend our lives and our nose in other people's business. And as I said before, ours go unattended. So we look at TV, we have opinions, we have thoughts about what's happening with people relationships when we don't even know the backstory. It's the same way if it's in your relationship. How can somebody tell you about your husband, your boyfriend, your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, about your relationship when they don't even know what goes on behind closed doors? They only know what you present to them, and they only know what you show them. So if we would learn how to mind our business, as I said once before, we would be so much better. But we as women, and we look at these women, we compare our bodies to them, we compare trying to live the lifestyle that we can't afford to live. And then if somebody work hard to get what they have gotten and they arrive to the place that they work hard for, then our little conversation is this person think they all that in a bag of chips. But you don't know the struggle and the stresses and the strain and the hard roads, the bumps and the bruises that it took them to get to their destination. And so what I'm saying to us as women, we have to take a look at ourselves. We have to take a look at ourselves, because nobody's front door is that clean. And you could be the cleanest person in the world. Nobody's front door is that clean. Everybody got something in their selves, in their closet, that they don't want nobody to know about. We're going to be honest about this thing. Everybody got it. But we have to learn to look at us. We have to learn to be truthful with who we are. We have to learn how to be truthful with that. We can't constantly blame somebody else for our shortcomings. We can't do that. That is totally unfair. And so I did a topic on TikTok and asking about judging people. And judging people, we do it often. I'm guilty too, because I've done it too. So when I talk to you, I'm talking to myself. But when we judge people under the pretense of not knowing what we think we know when we really don't know. People have hard lives. And if you listen to those who are very successful, you listen to those who have conquered their hurdles, you listen to those who have successfully succeeded and doing what they're doing and what they have arrived to. Some people have been homeless, some people have had car repossessions, some people have lost jobs, some people have had to file bankruptcy, but in doing all of that, they still fell down, dust themselves off, got back up, and tried it again. They did not let their circumstances put them in a defeated position. They kept doing what they needed to do for themselves to get them where they need to be. Now, I'm never saying that the road is always going to be easy, because it's not. If something was given to you that easy, would you really appreciate it? No, you wouldn't. So let's be honest with ourselves. So I'm saying this to make a point. So you don't know the backstory, but we judge. We judge people. We judge on what we think we know, and we really don't know. And consciously, that's something that we as women, we need to work on. Now, you may see, I don't judge nobody, and I can prove you wrong right there. You're driving down the street, and we ain't talking about getting on the expressway. We're talking about seeing a homeless person with a sign begging for money. You're gonna make a thought process, and some of you gonna say something to somebody. I'll tell you how else I know we are very judgmental people. When somebody is driving and they swerve a little bit, guilty. You say, they must be on their phone. That's judging them. That's making a statement that you don't even know whether it's true or not. Now, sometimes it is true and sometimes it's not. Sometimes people just don't know how to drive, and that's just it, and that's just all. But it's something that we need to work on. We really need to work on that. It's so serious that we need to really think about that. But I wanna look up. Let's see what judging means, because I like to give a definition. So judging means to present participle judging, form an opinion or a conclusion about, right? So we're good at forming an opinion or giving a conclusion about something that we really don't know nothing about. Bottom line. And so in that TikTok, a lot of people, that because that's what the title was, they didn't want to look at that because they felt like maybe it was something that's harsh toward them. See, we like the touchy feely feel good stuff all the time. But if we're gonna look in the mirror of ourselves, our mind and our heart, and check ourselves, then we have to face some harsh realities. We need to face some harsh realities about ourselves. Another thing about us is, if one woman over here don't like another woman over there because I don't like that individual over there, then you're not supposed to like her neither. How does that work? So whatever the two women's issues with each other has nothing to do with me. So how am I drawn in to the madness of y'all mess? You pulling me into stuff that I don't need to be in. It's not my battle. It's not my fight. So why am I in the middle of it? If y'all don't get along, y'all two grown women, then y'all should get together and work that thing out for yourself. That has nothing to do with me. Period. It don't have nothing to do with me. So why am I being drawn into your mess? Why? I'm not understanding. Why am I being drawn into it? It's not my fight. It's your fight. And some of us as women, we can be so catty about certain things. Here's another thing. that I know is an issue. If Sally Ann went to Ross and she bought a top, and Julie Mae went to Ross and she bought a top, and we got on the same top and we end up in the same location, some of us get some real attitudes about wearing the same thing. But did you ever stop to think about Sally Ann may have a top, Julie may have a top, but Sally Ann may look better her top than Julie Mae. It's still the same top, but it's on two different individuals. You see where I'm going? You're individuals. Bottom line, you're not the same two women. Sally Ann and Julie Mae. Same top, but two different individuals. And we should understand our individuality. I can wear the same thing, but I may rock it better than you do. I may rock it the top with a jacket, some good earrings, makeup, hair, shoes, and some heels. You may rock yours casual. Does that mean that the top is the problem? No, it's the people who's wearing the top. That's all that is. So while we focusing on the wrong things, let's put our mind on things that's right. It doesn't make sense. I'm not understanding. Okay, so here's something else. Let me see. I want to go in here. I'm gonna turn my phone down. Take it off because when you got your phone on, it's kind of loud. So I'm gonna take it off and I want to go in. So I'm gonna say that here is another topic that I talked about. Um, I asked, what have you learned about yourself? And so when we're evolving, and hopefully as every year, every second, minute, hour, day, week, month, and year, our goal is to evolve. Our goal is to learn from our mistakes. Our goal is to become better individuals. Our goal is to be our better best selves. That's what our goal is. That's what we should strive to be. If you don't evolve, that means you don't want no growth. To me, that's what it means. Now, if it means something else different to you, then let me know. But if you don't feel like, if you don't want to evolve, that means you don't want no growth. You like staying stuck in the same cycles over and over again. But as you get older, some things you ought to want to put away. You are not to want to do that anymore. You are not to want to be that gossiper. You are not want to be that messy person anymore. You want to let that go. You want to put that away because you're getting older. Like you used to party back in the day. I used to go out, leave church, go to the party, stay out all night, come home, take a shower, and go to work. Now, ask me if I can do that now. The answer is no. I cannot, and neither can you if you're above 50. Hell, some of y'all can't even stay up past 9 o'clock at night. So I know you can't go where we're not in church, but when we was, go to church, go to a party, stay up all night, come home, shout, and then go to work. You can't do that. You just can't. And every year that you get older, you should get a little bit wiser and you make better choices about your life. You should want to make better choices about your life. But each experience that you go through should leave you a desire to learn something about yourself. Learn something about the situation you're standing, you're sitting, you're walking in, that you can be better from that. You don't want to be the same person you was in your teenage years. Hopefully, you don't want to be when you leave your teenager, you go in your 20s. You don't want to be the same person. You don't want to act like a teenager in your 20s. And when you get to your 30s, you don't want to act like a 20-year-old in your 30s. And as you evolve upwards, you don't want to be stuck in the same silly things that didn't make sense when you was a teenager and you was younger. As you get older, you should mature. You should become more wiser. You should make better choices. You should think out things before you act upon them. That's what we should be doing. But are we doing it all the time? No, of course not. That's not what we do. We don't do that. We just don't. But that is something that we should really, really, really take a conscious look at. And so you ask the question, what did you learn about yourself? Nobody want to talk about that, because you know why you want to talk about that? Because that means you have to face, maybe some of y'all got some demons you need to face. Or maybe if you look at some things, you'll realize that you ain't where you thought you was, and you haven't got over a whole bunch of things that you thought you got over, and you haven't progressed as far as you thought you would have progressed. Now that's why some of us don't want to ask ourselves, what have you learned about yourself? And you should want to know, you should want to reflect, not to lay in it, not to wallow in it, not to think about it, but you should want to reflect so you won't keep doing the repetitive cycles of craziness over and over. This is all a part of growth. So that was another topic. And then the other topic was when I made a topic, don't let your past define you. And some of us have had not so great past. And everybody got a past, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. You can sweep it up on the rug, you can throw it in the windowsill, pull the blind down, close the shade, throw it in the closet, way back in the closet, and let it sit there and think that nobody will ever know. Somebody knows something about your past. So don't never assume that that's not the case, because somebody knows something about your past. So, but how does our past define who we are today? Can you ask yourself the question, has your past caused you a hindrance? Has your past caused you to be stuck and not able to move in the directions that you need to move? Are you able to get over your past? That's a question you have to ask yourself. Now, for those who stuck, they're going to forever, ever live in their past. Every conversation they have will be reflective of their past, not realizing that they're sitting there present and their eyes are looking toward their future. They're still sitting in their past. All conversation. Well, back then, such and such, and I used to wear this, such and such. And now, don't get me wrong. When we have other conversation, yeah, we laugh, we think about something, we go back to our past. Well, we don't lay there. We don't nap there. We don't sleep in our past. We can visit it every now and then to get a good laugh from it, but we're not wallowing in it. You can't get to your present if you're stuck in your past. And you definitely can't see your future if you're stuck in your past. How will you, and if you notice, your past is behind you. So everything, when you're walking forward, you constantly leaving everything behind you. And the further you walk forward, the further your past get away from you. And that's how far your memory should go. It should be, your past should be so far in the distance that you can't even remember half the stuff. But a lot of us don't do that. We take that and we get in relationships and we throw it up. We get in family arguments and we throw it up. Nobody can ever heal from the past. Nobody ever can ever move forward from the past. They just can't do it. You know why? Because some of y'all won't let people move forward from their past. You won't. And you try to keep them stuck in their past as much as possible. But you don't want nobody to keep you stuck in your past. So you want to live your life and you want to move past it. And you're quick to say, that's my past. Why are you bringing it up? That was then and this is now, with an attitude at that. That was then, and this is now. But you quick to forget how you was just recycling somebody else's past. See, we have to think. We should think about some things before we do them. We should. But we don't. We don't. And so, in order for us to move forward, in order for us to get past our past, we should understand that we made some mistakes. We made some bad decisions. We are not perfect people. And learn from it. And I made this statement. There's a young lady, Coco Talk to Me Foundation. We did a video a couple of months ago. She's an ex-offender. She came out and she started hustling. You understand what I'm saying? Because they don't give you nothing when you come out. But I commend her for not letting that, what she dealt with, define who she was today. She has an organization called Talk to Me Foundation. She assists women. She's in Indiana. She has a banquet hall on Austin and Madison. But you know what really, 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 really pushed it over for me? She wanted to get her countertops done. She wanted epoxy put on her countertops. And seeking out pricing, she found out the pricing was quite expensive. So instead of her wallowing in what she coulda, wish she coulda, woulda, shoulda, or woe is me, she went and found her a class, took a 3-day class, and last week she did her countertops, epoxy countertops. And I commend her for that. But how many of us can be that bold and stand boldly and not let what we have been through in our past, if it was a horrible relationship, if it was a fatherless relationship, it was a motherless relationship, if our husband was cheating on us relationship, if our kids did not love us like we should relationship, if our employees didn't treat us right relationship, if we was violated in our past relationship, we was lied on in our past relationship, how many of us as women right here, right now, this second, can say that I can push forward without letting that define me, who I am today? How many of you can do that? How many of you can stand in that truth? How many of you can stand in that boldness? How many of you can walk that road and don't even think about what happened back then? Don't even think about what you endured back then, because what you endured back then made you the woman you are today. And those tests and trials was meant for you. Well, they was good or bad. Those was lessons that taught you certain things. So we look at the madness instead of looking at the message that comes from the madness. So if we do rethinking process and we think about the lessons that we get from the madness that we go through, we'd be awesome. We'd be some bad women for real. But we wallow in what people should have done, could have done, didn't do what I wanted them to do when I wanted them to do it, instead of saying thank you for the lesson. And whether you realize it or not, when people say they won't do for you, it pushes you to do for yourself. You figure it out for yourself. And sometimes that's what God wants you to do. Whether we want to understand it or not, sometimes he wants that individual to tell you no. Sometimes he wants that individual to give you attitude so you can get up off of yourself, so you can learn how to be more self-sufficient, more independently for yourself. And it may not resonate with you right then and there, but down the line, like when my daddy used to make me get up. As I got older, he had 3 girls, no boys. And as I got older, he used to want me to go on the roof. He used to want me to do electricity. He used to want me to do drywall and taping. And he used to want me to do all kinds of stuff, put stuff together. Like I was his son. And he was doing it so much to me. I tell him one day, you ain't got no boys, Daddy. You got girls, not no boys. I am a girl. But he kept pushing me. You follow what I'm saying? I was the oldest, and he kept pushing me to do this, to do that, to do this, to do that. All these things, he kept pushing me. Even electricity, even though I got shocked, he still kept pushing me. That you okay? You okay, right? You okay? Yeah, okay, let's keep on moving. But let me tell you something. And I want y'all to understand, ladies, your strength, your power is more than what you recognize. You got so much strength and so much power, you can tip over a scale. But you know why we don't use our strength and power? Because we don't recognize the strength and the power that resides within us. So every time somebody told you, no, I'm not doing this for you, or gave you attitude about not doing it for you, think about it. It caused you to figure out some things for yourself. Just like my daddy pushed me to do all the things that men teach their sons to do, he pushed me to do. And let me tell you, when I say I can put stuff together, I can patch a hole on the wall, I can paint. I built a gate when I was living in the city and the wind blew down the gate and the people told me to call me $3,000 to put it up there. I said, I don't got no $3,000. Went to the hardware store, got the horses out, got the measuring, got the plywood, everything I need to drill and the saw, cut it up, the hinges, put that gate up to myself. And I passed that house not too long ago, and that gate is still up there. So when somebody tell you no, say thank you. When somebody give you attitude about what they don't want to do, say thank you. You know what they're doing? They're teaching you in reverse how to do stuff for yourself. So you don't have to depend on nobody else. Don't get mad, don't get angry, and don't get upset. You are learning some things. God wants you to learn those things. And because somebody tell you to learn them, you like, no, I don't think so. Because, I don't want to mess up my hands. I don't want to mess up my nails. I don't want to mess up my hair. I don't want to mess up my makeup. I don't mess up my clothes. I don't want to mess up this. But you study dishing out all this money. And people are study taking your kindness for weakness. And let me tell you, when you go to certain companies, car dealerships, or whatever, because we are women, understand they see us coming and they think they can take advantage of us. Learn. Educate yourself so you can be self-sufficient. Educate yourself so if that husband or that man walk out the door, you can stand on your own 2 feet. Don't you ever go in a relationship with anybody that you don't bring no skills in there with you. Because let me tell you something, I say this all the time. Ain't no guarantee but Jesus Christ himself. That's it and that's all. See, people walk away. Even parents walk away from their kids. So what do you think about a husband or boyfriend walk away from you? We put too much value in somebody else instead of placing the value in ourselves. Now, I'm not saying be a partner in your relationship, a team player. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying make sure that you cover yourself at the same time. You can stand strong if something does happen. You don't have to be dependent on nobody else for your soul's survival. You know how to get out there and figure that thing out for yourself. If that means stand outside with a cup with your shoulders back and your head held high, you will be the best stand outside cup holder in life. But a lot of us as women, we started out on a good path. We got into relationships. We live with these men who you don't want them to be your husband. I don't know why. Because if something happened to him, y'all build something, you can't collect nothing. Then you get these husbands and the husband walk away. You ain't got no skills. You can't even use a computer. You don't know how to pay a bill. You don't know how to survive on your own. The relationship consists of two people. How to become a one-person relationship? Because you allowed it to be a one-person relationship. Don't do that. Go in there bringing just as much to the table as he brings to the table. Still let him be the man, but hey, if he tell you I'm leaving, you tell him okay, bye, see you next time, so long, farewell, adios, arrivederci. Let the doorknob hit you and be okay with that. You have to be okay with that. And I'm telling you, women, if we would really understand our value, really understand our worth, baby, we will be unstoppable. Now, I'm not saying don't let the man be the head because that's how God designed it to be. But he said be the head, not to walk all over you. Right? He said be the head, but he's not to walk all over you. He says you are his helpmeet, his helpmate, help me. So you are to help him, but he's still not to walk all over you. You understand what I'm saying? Let him be the king, but you still the queen of the castle. And when you stop allowing yourself to be the queen of your castle, then that's when the problems come in. You got to stand boldly in who you are. That's all I'm saying. Stand boldly in who you are. Don't let nobody define who you are as an individual. That's all I'm saying. That's it, and that's all. Understand what I'm saying? We are stronger than what we think. We are more powerful than what we realize. And if you really, 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 really want to know something, I'm going to tell you something. Are you listening? Come close. Listen. Listen. Some of these men ain't as smart as they pretend to be. Don't tell nobody I told you that, though. You know how you know? You go to the store. They call you, baby. What kind of cheese you say? Baby. What kind of deodorant we use? Baby. What kind of washing powder should I get? Simple stuff. Simple stuff. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying they dumb, but they need you. But they need you in a good way. Don't sacrifice who you are as an individual and take your individuality and place it in somebody else's lap to maneuver who you are as a person. That's all I'm saying. This is a new year, ladies. And when I say we're going to be having some conversations, we're going to be having some conversation. And I want y'all to join in. I want you to be a part. You want to create a panel? Let's create a panel and have some discussion. Let's not walk in silence no more. Let our voice be heard. Let us speak up. Let's have conversations that's going to make a difference. And these conversations are going to help the younger women. And that's some of what they need. They need to know that they are loved, they are cared for. We can't keep holding this stuff to ourselves. No longer can we do that. So come on, women, let's be better. Let's be better. So I pray that Angie feels better. I pray her dad feels better as well, you know. And let us continue to pray for one another. That God will heal the land because it's getting rough out here. That's all I can say. It's getting rough out here. All right. Again, if you are a woman, you have a business, and you would like to be highlighted, please send me an email, the number to a woman's heart.com. To a woman's heart at gmail.com. I got so much stuff going on, my head is crossing over. To a woman's heart at gmail.com. And for those who are on replay, make sure you share. Make sure you follow us on all our social media outlets. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, TikTok. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Sign up for toawomansheart.org. I'm splitting out the t-shirts so people can find them. And yeah, come on, join in. Let's create this. Again, I keep saying this, but it's not about me. Not about me. It's not. But I want you all to join in. I don't just want you to listen to me talk. I want you to share your stories. You never know how much your story can help somebody else. And again, it may save a life. You don't know. You just don't know. And you don't know if you're in business, what this may do for your business. You don't know if somebody's going to replay and they're looking for you. But how can they find you if you don't show yourself present? That's all I'm saying. All right? All right. So until we talk again, follow us on all our social media outlets. And I thank you all for chiming in. And again, I do apologize for not having our guest, but she's sick with COVID. So what can you do? Can't do nothing but move on. Life still goes on. Checked out at your work tomorrow or tonight. They're going to push your butt out the seat and get somebody else's butt to put in there. So you got to improvise. All right? Improvise. All right. Hope this conversation was helpful to you. It was helpful to me. All right. Until we talk again, talk soon.